Yo, what's up, beautiful souls? Um, listen. So, we coming back live with a live interview with very an amazing client and friend that has been a client for over a year, and I feel like he's just an extraordinary light worker himself. And so I can't wait to introduce y'all to Dre. You feel me? All right, so let's get this popping. All right.
Okay, now when you say over a year, it's actually been over 2 years. Now, I know I'm aging backwards and you're like we're on the same page, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's been over 2 years. It's been longer than that, but
It's been a grub.
who's counting? I don't count. I'm aging backwards,
What's
as
up?
I can say. But yes, how are you, Mr. Ja?
Abundant. I feel
Abundant,
like
I
I
like
feel
that.
like when we first connected, I was going through shadow stuff myself, but also channeling abilities. And I feel like we was both going through shadow work and identifying with balancing the yin and the yang and spirit
I
and flesh, right?
listen. I think when we first met, I was running around in circles so fast that I couldn't see the light. It's like, yeah, but we're on the right path now. But yes.
And we connected, and you were like, I would love a reading. I see what you do, and from there, we I actually did notice that when I did your reading, there was some similar type of shadow work that was needed, right?
Right.
So first, we're gonna dive into my name is Ja. I am a spirit medium. I talk to the dead. I help with grieving and pain. I have been blessed to see past, present, and future as an oracle, and I'm a healer through hands and just through words and love and light. So this is a testimonial and an interview with one of my good friends and clients of over 2 years, and which is very amazing too that God has put him here and us here to so you guys can hear what God is up to. You understand what I'm saying? All right, so let's get this popping. All right, so this is our first session over 2 years ago, right here.
Oh, look at that face.
That was over 2 years ago,
It
man.
was.
How
I
cool
think it
is
was like
that?
right when the pandemic started or a few months
That was
after.
during the pandemic.
Yeah,
That
that
was.
was 20. That's definitely 2020.
Oh
So
my gosh. Yes, it
it's
was. Can you imagine the pandemic was so like you couldn't go into nowhere. You had to stay home.
go into nowhere. How about the pandemic? I had to fight with airlines to get refunds and hotel rooms to get refunds because I graduated in the middle of the pandemic with my master's degree.
Now that's amazing.
And it's amazing until you got to like cancel flights
You
and
got like 2 degrees, right?
yeah, my bachelor's and my master's. I'm always at work, and I'm definitely gonna go back and get my doctorate because people, not people.
Gratitude,
I'm
gratitude.
very big on education, so I want to include people in this, even though people are a good thing. But yeah, that oh, the lockdown was the beginning of my spiritual journey. I think I spoke to you a few months after the lockdown when I was just like at rock bottom and I needed something. Just like, we were friends for a while on Facebook or whatever. And then
What exactly were you feeling when you felt like you needed to yeah.
I felt, I don't want to say it wasn't suicidal because I've been there before. And that's a horrible feeling when you feel like you just want to end it all. I felt tired. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like I felt like I didn't want to give up, but I just
Mhm.
felt like I was tired of where I was at. I was tired of my surroundings. I was tired of the people I was with, tired of my normal routine. I was just tired of a lot. So, like, in a sense, I feel like COVID was more of like a spiritual awakening for some of us. A
For
lot of us
sure.
won't feel like that because a
Yes.
lot of us will feel like, we're being locked down. forcefully, and it's not necessary for us to be locked down.
That
But I
part.
felt like the lockdown really got me, and I'm like jumping ahead of it because we met before I got to like where I'm about to go.
Yes,
So
yes.
let's take it one step at a time. I don't want to open jump the situation that's
It's
going
like
on.
the pandemic made you force you to identify with your shadow self.
The
It makes
pandemic
you deal with the obvious that you might under busy on a busy regular type of situation without the pandemic, you wouldn't have the time
the
to
pandemic
focus
forced me
on
to
shadow
deal
self.
with the one thing that I've been avoiding, and it's me.
There we go. Preach.
That's what the pandemic
Come on.
forced me into. It forced me to face my own worst enemy, which is myself. And people don't understand what like self-sabotage, that will really screw you up. And it took me a while, a very long while, a recent while, shall we
Yes,
say, until me to realize that I'm my worst own enemy. You know what I mean? Like
for
a
sure.
lot of the projections that we see from people, like, yeah, people are scumbags. There are people on this planet that are just not good people to be around. But these people only, let's say, activate the negative that we give them the power to activate.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. What? Um, Misery loves company.
It's deeper than misery loves company.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
now you're
Yeah.
talking about yourself sabotaging the things like you give these people, and I'm going to use my ex family, and I don't mean ex in the sense of somebody I dated. I mean like my actual ex family because I got a
Let's
divorce
let's
from these
let's.
people.
My bad, Dre. Let's hit this outline real quick so we could this ain't the Wendy show, but we're gonna try to
Uh,
we gonna try to
Wendy
make
wish
it
she can
pop.
have a show as good as
So
mine.
let's talk
Mind you,
about.
her birthday
Can
is the
you
day before
believe that
mine, but whatever.
they getting rid of Wendy, bro? Like, how y'all feel about the new
It's a
rules?
lot of background stuff to that. Like I was looking into that. I've been studying astrology a lot more, and us cancers, because Wendy's birthday is the day before mine. Us cancers are going through like just a transformation, especially with the portal being open the other day. We're going through a transformation that we can't stop ourselves. So that's
Oh,
Wendy is going through the same transformation, and it's not a bad thing for her. Wendy's going to come out on the other side. But
mhm.
yeah, let's get back to the outline.
All right. So let's talk about in our session we talked about grandma came in for you and mom came in for you because they were
Hmm.
protecting you at this time because they sensed that you were going through this kind of flesh spiritual straddling the fence type of
Hmm.
situation that could have at any point teetered. And the amazing part is that they both came through with love and light and with each other. Now, and that made you, in a sense, um, want more and want to. Well, let me not put words in your mouth. Tell me how that made you feel for mom and grandma to come through with memories and visions.
Well, in the physical world, they didn't get along. Towards the end, um, they died 2 years apart. Or actually, they died a year apart. Sorry, they died a year apart. um they didn't get along until towards the end. So like to see that they came together in the sense of like the afterlife it's reassuring. But what that situation did for me is I didn't really understand like what guardian angels was, intuition and things like that. Like after our session, and I really got to connect and understand that I'm still being represented, because when you lose someone, you feel like you've lost them forever. And we get so attached to the physical form, the flesh of people, that we don't understand that it's the soul that we're really attracted to. And when the flesh and the physical form of this person deteriorates, or there is no more of that form of that person, we forget about like the soul connection that we have with these people.
Right.
And I think that's what it was, is I was reminded that I still have a soul connection. And why I've lost my grandmother and my mother in the physical form, I haven't lost them in the soul form. And
Yeah.
I was able to tap into that. I was able to feel like I wasn't alone because, with my background and the people and situations that I've been around, I've always felt like I was, I guess the term is black sheep that people say. I don't know. I just felt like I was alone, like I was alienated, and to know that the people that were near and dear to me, like I call them like my holy trinity. That was my mother, my sister, and my grandmother. All three of which died back to back. My sister went first, my grandmother, and then my mother. So I call them like my holy trinity. And I don't mean offense to anyone religious or you know
No,
what I mean.
it's
But like
yeah.
to be reminded that I still have them. I didn't lose them. I lost them in the flesh. I can't like reach out and hug them, but when I really need to quiet my mind and tap into baby sis, I need you, or mom, I need you, or grandma, I need you, or just team, I need you, I can get that feeling now. You know what I mean?
Yes, I feel like as I after our reading that day, it kind of opens you up to the realm because you also are very sensitive to spirit. But I think that probably what you were going through, it put a block up. So as a medium, I was able to come in and probably knock down that wall for you. So now I I know you've been getting synchronicities and they've been reaching out to you. You've been having dreams.
I've been having dreams. A lot of my dreams make sense, but they don't make sense. And I say that in the sense of I don't understand them until I need to process them. So, like the dream world and the physical world, are two different things. So, sometimes I will have an amazing day and then come home and have nightmares. Or
Right.
sometimes
Right.
I'll have a crazy day and then I'll come home and I'll have like vivid, sweet dreams in a sense. So I've learned more so how to process these dreams now and I'm understanding them, but I'm still not completely where I need to be with understanding my dreams. But yes, the dreams have been off the chain. It's
So
been
with
dreams about things that I don't want to dream about, but I dream about them.
understandable, sometimes you got to dreams help you wake up. You got to experience some dreams in order to get that to wake up. It's something in that dream that you need to pay attention to. And if it is a bad dream, there's something that's not being done right. And I know that when your grandma came through, she wanted you to step into your power. She wanted you to because you are a spiritual being living a human experience and grandma wanted you to realize who you are and to wear your crown.
Right. And you
So
know what? I feel
doing
that.
so,
I definitely feel that. When you say that, like I'm a spiritual being and I really need to step into my power, there's been situations that could have clearly taken me out of here, but there's been situations where it was just like it didn't make sense that I came out on the other side, if you know what I mean. Like I'm trying to think of one that I could talk about, but there's been so many. Um,
I can
there's
definitely
been
empathize.
there's been situations where I felt like I wasn't supposed to come out on the other side. Point and simple, like I met up with a date that clearly could have took my life. You know what I mean? It was something I decided to be spontaneous and meet up with someone, and this person got really aggressive, and I don't know what overcame me, but I was able to. I don't know. I don't really want to say too much. I was able to take the situation and take full control of the situation. Let's say it like that. And any other situation that would have overpowered me,
Well, yeah.
and I wouldn't have came out on the other side. And there's been situations like that, and just situations in general that just didn't make sense that I came out on the other side. So I definitely know that I'm spiritually protected.
For
That I
sure.
feel. I feel that. So that makes a lot of sense.
Oh no, it's all your grandma came through to protect you. She was just seen something. Your family seen something in you that, and in the spiritual world, I think everyone who have loved ones who have passed on, when they come through to me, um, what I do see is there's this unwavering sense of support and love
Hmm.
that you will only feel from the utmost highlight God, that you will not get from self or in the flesh. And when you know that you have that support and you feel it. So when I channeled mom and the family, did you feel it in your soul like they were there? Like how was your physical feeling?
At first, I didn't feel anything. I wasn't sure what I felt. I don't think I felt the effects of our interview until after the fact. Like I felt some, like I felt like I don't know what I was feeling. I felt like weirdness, so to say, and it wasn't like a bad weirdness. I just felt weird, and I didn't really process everything until I was able, like when the cameras went off and I was here. I lit my sage, I lit my candle, and I was in here by myself. Is when I really felt the effects. It's like you ever got a hug from someone that's like really near and dear to you, and it just like gives your body chills. Like when this person is like wrapping their arms around you, it felt like that. Of course, nobody was here hugging me. Well, I can't say nobody was
No,
here hugging
they
me.
were. They exactly they
That's
were.
why. That's what I'm saying. I can't say nobody was here hugging me, but it really felt like somebody had just grabbed me, and like I just felt like I don't know. I felt like chills going through my body. I remember crying tears that night because it's like the feeling is like I can't describe the feeling of what I felt that night. But I didn't feel that until after I processed like our interview and I was here alone. You know, like when they say like when the lights go down, is when you feel everything the most, and
Yes,
that's
yes.
exactly what happened. When the lights went down that night, and I was just in here with me, myself, and I, it started a process to lead me to where I am right now. Because ever since that night, the chain of events that happened, good and bad, some repetitive, and then now I understand like when things repeat, especially bad things, when bad things in your life tend to repeat, when you, uh, for example, let's say if you meet somebody and you're dating somebody and they they ain't what you expect, and then you keep meeting the same person over and over and over,
Yeah.
it's not bad luck. You're being faced with the same situation over and over and
The
over
same pattern until
because
you
it's a
learn.
learning lesson. It's something that you need to learn out of
Yes.
this. And when I started to look at like my life and why I kept repeating things, like, do you understand? Like last summer alone, I lost my iPhone 4 times. Four, four
That's when
times I lost my
the
phone.
energy. That's when not you don't have a balance when stuff like that happens.
It's when you're out of balance, and but it was also something like me losing my phone had nothing to do with me being like irresponsible. In a sense, I know why I kept losing my phone. It
Yeah.
was something that I kept doing repeatedly. It's why I lost my phone on all four occasions.
So since we're talking about the cause and effect of the universe and how
Hmm.
when you're woke and you are straddling the fence, the universe will come in and they will give you the business and they will wake you up and make sure you remember who you are.
Give you the business like no other. Now it may feel like they're taking you out. You may feel like this is it. You are being called home, and you're not. You're
That
not.
is
It
that.
may feel like you're out there on. Sorry, I got like hiccups and stuff. It
Mhm.
may feel like you're out there on a limb and you don't know where to go, or you just there's no saving grace. Let's say it like that.
But you
You
know,
may
it
feel like
forces you to have blind faith in God. It forces you to
it
be
it
obedient.
does if your mind is there. If your mind is there. My mind is there now. Now I've been presented with the same obstacles and I didn't have that blind faith. Now we gotta think about the people that's not like spiritually where we are, or that's not
Understandable. Oh,
hasn't
for
gotten there
sure.
yet.
Oh, for sure.
Sometimes you might feel like you don't have that blind faith.
Yeah.
This is the point of where you're giving up, where you feel
Oh,
like
for
this is
sure.
it. There's no coming back from this. There's nothing I can do. I'm
Right. Yeah.
$10,000 in debt and I got $20 to my name. How am I gonna fix this? That kind of feeling. You know what I mean? So
Understandable, but that's that flesh that gets you, have you anticipating. See, blind faith is when you have no regrets about the future. You don't anticipate, have no regrets about the past. Let go of the past. You don't anticipate the future, but you reside in the present. But you live within spiritual moral integrity, and you live with good karma. So when you are have this supply of bad karma, that's when you're straddling the fence. That's when you were going through that losing my phone. because you were better than that. You understand what I'm saying? So now that you're woke enough, that stuff stops happening. But like you said, it's just a matter of like it's the blind faith that takes away. It's the blind faith that literally is a test from the universe with a combination of spiritual moral integrity, of
Right.
taking responsibility and combating the shadow self. You know what I'm saying? And so what spiritual practices have you gained? Like, any new crystals, any new
Uh,
mantras, anything you do in
well,
the at night?
I got to keep my amethyst and my tiger eye and my black tourmaline on me on deck always.
Oh, I like that. That's
Yeah,
a vibe right there.
but I've been studying tarot because I feel like I communicate more with my guardian angels. Now, you don't have to do tarot to communicate with your guardian angels, however you deem fit. Because my practices of tarot, like if I was to do a tarot reading on you, the way I practice tarot, you'll be looking at me like I'm crazy. Because I can pull one card, I can pull three cards, I can pull damn near half the deck.
Hmm.
It's how I communicate with my spirit guides.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's your
that's
what you
which is
choose
why
to
I
do.
don't practice like tarot on anyone else. But that's one of my spiritual practices. I need to get more into meditating. I don't meditate enough. I definitely need to do that more. But
Well, you want to make sure. Excuse me. Like when you do your tarot cards, that's just a personal thing that if that's what you need to do to keep you balanced, and you've seen results.
I've seen a lot of
Nobody
results.
argue with that.
The funny thing about it is, it's like I'll do a tarot reading on myself, and then I'll have like astrologers that I follow that do tarot. One being Tony Michelle, I love her. Like, yeah,
I'm gonna check her out.
you need to check out
Yeah.
Tony Michelle. Tony Michelle, this woman predicted Biden stepping out of office, and when she predicted this, was like the beginning of November. And you remember, like towards the end of November, when Biden had to step out for the colonoscopy and
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Kamala took over. Yeah,
Hmm.
she predicted that way before it even happened. Like a lot of her
Hmm.
stuff, it resonates deeply with my life. Like she does it like she'll do tarot readings off your rising sign. Like, I'm a Cancer sun, so my rising sign is Gemini. So I've been, and a lot of it makes sense. So that's another thing too. Like I dug more into my birth chart, and I'm still learning more about like where the planets are when I was born and things like that.
Yeah.
And that helps me dig deeper into spirituality. Like it's the spirituality process is something that, not to say you have to teach yourself, but it's something that you have to go into. Like nobody can take you into the deepness until you're ready. Like I
Nobody
can
can
sit
tell you
here
that.
and you
You got
can
your
give
own.
me
Right.
prophecies, you can tell me all of this stuff about like the spirit world and my guardian angels, and I can go to church and rabbis and things of that. You will never reach that place until you're ready to
You do
reach
that
that
self
place.
work. That self work.
That shadow work, you have to do the
Hmm.
shadow work. You have to face your own worst enemy. And that's where, like, after we did our interview and after I had that moment where I felt like I was being embraced by like my loved ones, I really got to see what the problem was and face that enemy. And that enemy
Yes.
was me. Like I realized like a lot of stuff that I went through in my life, and yes, I've met some shit people. You know what I mean? Like I met people that just, family included in that, which is why I said I got a divorce from that family that I don't have to mention anymore. Um,
No
it
triggers, right?
no triggers, and you, but see, like when you get rid of some triggers, you got to get rid of all triggers, and that's another thing that I've learned more recently. Like even like 2022, I'm still like learning. Like when you're going through a spiritual growth, that's a lifetime thing. That's not something that's going to happen today and stop tomorrow. You're going to go through that growth for the rest of your life. You're
Yes.
going to see like things. And it's like when you start to see that things were like, oh, this didn't make sense. I don't know why I did that. That's not the opportunity to spiral backwards and beat yourself up. And that's something that I had to unlearn. It was a toxic trait that I had to unlearn. And I think the biggest thing of growing spiritually is unlearning that toxicity that we
Yes.
were taught from childhood, that childhood trauma, and you have to
Transference.
unlearn that.
Yes.
And a lot of it doesn't make sense. A lot of it hurts when you're trying to unlearn it, so you get stuck in your comfort zone. Like cousin Pookie and
It's
shit,
not easy. It's
and
not
you're not
easy.
supposed to be around cousin Pookie, but you don't want to cut cousin Pookie off because that's your family, and you were programmed and conditioned
Codependency.
to believe that
Yeah.
family is everything. Family is, family over everything. And that's not the case. Family isn't over everything. It's
And
family
you
over
know,
your mental health. It's family over your well-being.
and
You know what I mean?
codependency is like a pandemic in itself, having
It is.
these codependent, dysfunctional ties to people that do not mean you well. And feeling like you were saying, what you feel like you have to because it's been the norm. And so you don't want to be the one outside the box, right? You know,
Right.
so then you got to break those cookie cutter type of images and the stereotypes in order to step into your power. Man, this was a good interview. I'm happy that we came together and I was able to open you up spiritually in a sense because it helped me open up spiritually. Seeing how
You
you
helped
know what
out,
I'm
and
saying?
I think that's what we need to do as light workers. We need to step into the unknown and step out of our comfort zone and help people, because something as simple as telling somebody to have a great day or telling somebody that they look good, you don't know what that does to a person. And it's like a snowball effect. And I think that's what we need to do. It's like the same way you opened the door for me spiritually and I opened the door for you spiritually. We unintentionally do things for others, good
Yes,
and
yes.
bad. So when you're putting out negative energy, you are unintentionally ruining somebody else's life
Yeah, and I
because you're
appreciate
having a
you.
bad day.
Like I
You know what
really
I mean?
appreciate you doing this interview, you know, because you know, as a black man and being a spirit medium and talking to spirit and um you know, being able to talk to the dead and have see the past, the present, and the future. It's real taboo.
It is.
So it's amazing that two black men could sit here, minorities, and sit here and talk about the goodness of the utmost high, like God, and how things like spirit, being a spirit medium, and you're starting to read do tarot that helps you out spiritually.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? um, these false narratives of these tools that's used to help souls in their soul progression. You know, and so I thank you so much for giving me your live testimonial about my and and have so much gratitude towards you for doing this and because you didn't have to, you know, and I just want to help lift the world's vibrations and you know, and I'm at a point now to where I don't, you know, I don't reside in the flesh, and I've grown a lot since our last session.
I
And
see. I've been watching you, sir. I've been watching you. I've been watching your YouTube videos. Um, yeah, you have grown tremendously in a good way.
thank
I
you.
see you. I see you.
Well,
I see you, and others see you. And continue to shine your light. Continue to radiate that same energy and that light, because I see you. And as well as I see
gratitude,
you, everybody else sees you as well. So keep doing what you're doing.
gratitude. Well, you got to come back and we got to just have a live session, just talk about some real stuff.
And listen, when we get off of this live, we'll have a conversation that the world doesn't need to hear right now
Yeah,
about
let's do
some
that.
things that we should do in the future. And I'm serious about this.
I'm
So,
with it.
once we get off of this, then we'll talk more. I
Yeah,
mean, I like this energy that we got going with each other. We can build
for
something off
sure.
of this.
Well, thank you so much for the love. You know, and again, gratitude. You know what I'm saying? And I send love and light to you. Come here, give me a air hug, bro.
Oh, of
Air hug,
course.
air
Of
hug.
course. Big hugs. Big hugs. Big hugs.
All right, I'll give you a call and I'll talk to you later, okay?
Let's do this.
All right, y'all. So that was a live interview with a client over like over 2 years. You know, I feel like we got to come together in unity, love, and light, and talk about our spiritual experiences, and just praise God together, and know that God is magic. There doesn't need to be a false narrative of spirit mediums and psychics or whoever you deal with for growth. My name is Josh Sterling. I am a spirit medium. I talk to the dead. I'm an oracle. I see past, present, and future. Okay, and I'm a healer. You don't have to know them to love them. You don't have to know them to wish them well. You don't have to identify with them to love them. You don't have to identify with them to wish them well. You are more than a conqueror, yo. You are victorious. Have a good night.